Hi, and welcome back to my channel, Simply Queen by Sherell. That's me, the seamstress. Today we are going to do our studio tour, and I am going to show you how I maximize my small space. Okay, so we are standing at the entrance of my sewing room. My sewing room is located in my basement, and unfortunately I do not have any windows in this room, so there's no natural light. I really have to work at lighting up the space whenever I'm working in it, and I think I did a pretty good job. The other drawback to this space is that I only have 3 outlets, so I'm always aware of, what I have running at the same time. I don't want to short circuit the rest of my house and then have another situation. The space is about a 13 by 9, so it's not too terribly small, but it is a small space, compact space. I actually like this space because it does not allow me to stockpile a bunch of unnecessary stuff. I have everything that I need in this space, all of my equipment, tools, fabric. So I really have no complaints. I've been operating in this space for about a year now. It's been through many configurations. I said that I would keep working at it until I came up with the perfect combination. And I finally have come up with the perfect combination that suits the way I like to work and be productive in this space. So this first area, and I apologize for this ring light that's kind of blocking things, but we'll be moving away from it in just a bit. It is one of the things that I do use to light up a space when I am recording. So looking straight ahead, this is my main workbench here. And so I'm entering my space, and this is my main workbench. And let me see if I can zoom out any. Yeah, here we go. Move my chair out of the way. So this is my main workbench. It houses my main sewing machine, which is my Janome. Right beside it is my cover stitch machine, and that too is by Janome. I keep it out quite a bit because I do use it a lot. I use it on woven fabrics as much as I use it on knit fabrics. Behind that is my TV. Now my TV seems a little low, and it wasn't always that way because I originally had desk height tables in here, but now I have kitchen counter height cabinets in here, so that's why the TV appears to be so low. I was going to have it moved up, and I still may in the future, but for right now it's fine. It's not in my way. Right beside my main sewing machine is just some rows of serger and cover stitch machine threads. I've got my boom box right under that, and then under that I have more thread containers, and those containers were purchased from IKEA. They come in a set of 3 and you can stack them, so they're very handy. I do have an extra light source back here. I'm actually going to replace this, and I'm going to get one of the really big ones, and it's much taller so that it can just shine over top of the whole workbench. So I may actually do that today. My main machine is a Janome, and it's one of their Skyline versions, and I really do like it. Under this workbench, I have a crate with a mat on it that has my foot pedal. So because the my workspace is so high, my foot pedals, won't reach to the floor, and I wouldn't be able to sit on a chair at machine height and sew. So the solution to that was I needed to elevate my pedal. And this cart here just rolls out, and it's usually out when I'm down here working, and this houses the projects that I am currently working on. The second tier has all of my things that I need when I'm going to press. It has my mini iron, some stabilizers, some hem tape, glue, and my pressing hem and my pressing roll. The bottom tier has my traveling sewing box, and then some more things that I need for pressing. This cart can also double as a mini pressing station. So I would just clear out all the projects that I have in here, and then on the side of this I have a this is a quilter's cutting mat on one side, but then on the other side it's a pressing mat. So when I am working on something and I do not want to get out the large pressing board, I will just do this and pull out my my mini iron by Oliso and set it right beside me when I'm sewing. I will put it right there beside me while I'm sewing, and I will just press my seams as I go. And so again, I'm working in a small space, so I have found several solutions on how to work and work productively in this space, and this is one of the things. So let me just put these things away so that we can move on. I'll straighten that up in a bit. Okay. So because my cabinets are my workstation is they're 35 plus another inch, so they're approximately 36 inches high. I had to get a different chair. So I used to have, of course, office chairs, you know, your standard office chair, but they weren't high enough. So this is a drafting chair, and it goes all the way up to like 37 inches. So I purchased this drafting chair from Hobby Lobby, and there will be a video linked to how I recovered this chair. I love what I've done with the chair. It's really cute. You know, it has all the sewing machines and buttons and threads on it. I did an outstanding job covering it, but to be honest with you, this chair is garbage. I would not recommend it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why in the video where I recover the chair. So next year sometime I'll invest in a real drafting chair, something of quality that's going to last a while. So in my first drawer over here is where I keep you know, some of my sewing notions. I've got tools that I use on a regular, such as your gauge, your seam rippers, your tweezers. My needles are housed in this drawer, and sewing machine attachments, as well as my bobbin boxes. I have a separate bobbin box for my Janome machine, and I have a separate bobbin box for my other machines. All my other machines take the same bobbins. My Janome machine takes a different bobbin. In this cabinet is where I keep my interfacing, and I have another serger machine in the back there, and I have more thread, and I also have an easy press in there. In this drawer I have more sewing notions, more thread, my marking pens, and you know, stuff that I use on a regular. And in this cabinet is where I keep all of my novelty cotton fabric. So there are 2 rows of that back there, plus there's a shelf up top that houses fabric. So when I turn to my left, I have my second workspace, my second workbench. And this workbench houses my serger. My serger is on the end because I stand when I serge, and the piece in front of the serger is the fabric and thread catcher. Above it is more serger thread, and then above that, I call that my inspiration piece. And those are just pictures of my children and my grandchildren. They make me happy whenever I look at it. And then the little pegboard beside it, that's from IKEA, as most of you well know. Again, those are just some decorative pieces as well as functional pieces. I have in those little containers various buttons that I use. And then the other machine that's on this workbench is my Singer heavy duty machine. Now this will move. This will move as well as the serger in the near future, because I do have an embroidery machine coming, and my embroidery machine will be housed here. The heavy duty machine will be put away in a cabinet, and I'll pull it out whenever I need it. It's just been a luxury having both machines out right now, you know, just to flip-flop if I'm working on multiple projects and I don't have to keep changing the thread. And my serger will go on a little sewing cart that it will easily, you know, I can put it away and roll it out when I need it. Okay. There's an additional thread box. I use this a lot. This thread box has a lot of thread in it, and it also has a lot of rivets in it. So that too will be stored probably in the closet when my embroidery machine arrives. So in the first drawer over here on this workbench is my zipper drawer. I have ordered more zippers, not too many more because, you know, I don't want to stockpile anything, but I ordered ones that I use on a regular. So that's my zipper drawer. The drawer right beside it is my elastic and ribbon and trimmings drawer. Okay, not too much, but just enough. The cabinet, this cabinet houses my heavier fabrics. There are 2 rows, and they're pretty dark. And then above it, I have some stretch knit fabrics. In the cabinet right beside it, that box there is unfinished products. Unfinished projects. The stuff on top of it are planned projects, and then behind it and on the shelf is where I house my Ankara fabric. That's my African print fabric, and I do have some athletic wear fabric in there as well. So then, turning to the back of my sewing room is my workbench. Now this is where I do all of my prep work as I work on my projects. This workbench is 54 inches long, so it's 36 inches wide, 36 and a half inches wide. The butcher block is 36 and a half inches wide by 54 inches. So it's a nice size workbench. I can even cut out a lot of my patterns pieces on this bench as well. But this is where I do everything, just about. The pegboards above it, as you all have noticed, are from IKEA. And the first one houses all of my rulers. The second one houses some patterns, and these are patterns that I have pulled out that I am either currently working on or have plans to work with in the near future. We've got some other little items that I use. Those buckets on the top house my, screwdrivers, marking utensils, and a couple of other things like this thing here is my buttonhole cutter. If you don't have this, you should get it. It will make your life of opening up buttonholes so much better. This tool is used when I'm setting rivets. And then we have the owl. We've got a bunch of rolling wheels, just mini rulers, just any and everything that I could use. These little gadgets here are used when I need to turn in or turn right side out, straps that might go on a sundress or something like that. Some tracing paper. These are my 3 main scissors. They are only used for fabric. And the 2 longer pair, I always keep the covers on those because they are very, very sharp. Those are sharp too, and I have somehow misplaced the cover for those. I have just my clipping scissors, my rotary cutters. Those on the end are my paper scissors and my, oh gosh, what do you call them? My pinking shears. These are antique pinking shears. They used to be my mom's. So these are near and dear to me. They work very well, but they do need to be cleaned and sharpened a little bit. So I keep those. And then above it, these little containers that go on the pegboard are from IKEA as well. So, I have all of the standard things that I use, like my Wonder clips. These clips I use to clip my fabric down to my cutting board, and I'll show you that. You're probably thinking, well, where in the heck is her cutting board? I just told you that I cut on this station, and I do, but I do have a cutting table. These are mainly things to make bias binding. These are just some little flowers embellishment items. This is my tracing, my marking chalk. I got these on Amazon, and they are wonderful. I will also put a link to these, and I think I got like 8 pieces for maybe $7. I broke one, but these are really well. They work very good. These are just some hardware, and these are some bands that are left over from when I was making some masks. And then here's some more buttons and beads. And then this, of course, is a jelly roll for quilting, and I just have it there for decorations more so, and to remind me that I do need to get back around to educating myself on how to properly do a quilt. That's a future work. My pin cushion, those are just some things that I have for future projects. Now, under this workbench, I do have a chair that I can sit in. I was tracing patterns yesterday, so I do have a comfortable chair to sit in, and my trash can is under here. Now, this chair may go away because depending on how the cart is that I'm getting for my serger, that may be housed under this cabinet, but I don't know. I may be able to roll the new station for my serger in the laundry room. This is one of my dress forms. I have 3. I have 2 of this type of a dress form, and then I have a custom dress form that I made that has all of my measurements, and I keep that in a separate closet in another space. I did change out the base on this dress form to a base that I had for a wire framed dress form, because this allows me to push my dress form into that small corner perfectly so that I can get in and out of my closet without any trouble. This is my closet. In my closet houses my folding cutting table. So whenever I need to, whenever I'm ready to cut out my patterns, all I do is roll out my cutting table. Just roll it out into the room. I open up both leaves, and I have a full length counter height cutting table. And when I'm done cutting, I just roll it back into its space and it fits perfectly. I do keep a few projects that I didn't finish hanging, but not many. That's my shop vac that is used exclusively in here. Up top, I just have a little bit of everything. I have a new sewing machine up there, and just other things. Overflow of patterns, just another easy press, just stuff. Here is where I keep my patterns, in this tall shelving unit right here. Now, I do have a lot of patterns, but I'm constantly cleaning them out and putting them to the side to be sold, either on eBay or, I'll just take them to the thrift store. So I'm not one of those people that I hoard patterns, because either I like the pattern or I don't. And once I make it a couple of times, I'm usually done with it. And behind that, I have another sewing box, and then I have several more new sewing machines. My plan for all these new sewing machines is to, when we return to some kind of normalcy, I will do a camp, a sewing camp for kids. And that's way down in the future. I don't know why this isn't focusing. So anywho, this is my sewing space, and like I said, I love being down here. I'm very productive when I am down here in this space, and it is perfect for me because it does not allow me to hoard a bunch of stuff, a bunch of unnecessary things, and that's perfect for me. Now, would I love a 20 by 20 space? Absolutely. Will I someday have a 20 by 20 workspace? Absolutely. But for now, this works just fine. So I hope that you have enjoyed this sewing room tour and how I have maximized this small space. I will put a link to everything in the description box, or I will tell you where I purchased things such as the cabinets, the countertops, and the IKEA pegboards, things of that nature. Oh, this piece here that's been blocking our view, this tall pole, that is my C-stand, and I just got that not too long ago. It is by Newer, and this is the apparatus that I will be using when I am when I do my overhead recording. This was kind of pricey, but if you're going to be recording tutorials, it is a must. This is very, very heavy for me, that is. But it is well worth it. Okay, so that's my C-stand by Newer. Okay, and I'll put a link to that as well. Okay, thank you and take care until we meet again.